We're going to talk about 6.2 now, and it's factoring trinomials. 6.2, 6.3, and 6.4 are factoring trinomials. The key piece for 6.2 is the leading coefficient is a 1. So really important to differentiate so that when you look long term, you need to be able to distinguish what process to use for which problem. 6.3 and 6.4 both deal with a coefficient other than 1, and it's two alternatives to be able to use. This section is much easier because part of it is already determined for you. So you see that in this first box up here. If we have x squared, the only way to get x squared is x times x. Now on the handout, if you've printed off my handouts, I also remind you to make sure you know your signs. We've already said if its leading coefficient's a 1, has to be an x and an x. And how I'm going to determine my signs is based on first starting by looking at that last term. So what I mean by that is it's in descending order, x squared plus bx plus c. If c is positive, you will always look to the middle term to decide this. So I'm going to scoot this over real quick to write these on this side. If I have ax squared plus bx plus c, and those are my signs, if c is positive, I will look at the middle sign, and my signs will always match. So if c is positive, b is positive, they're both positive. If c is positive, we always look to the middle, and if the middle sign is negative, they both have to be a negative. And my last case scenario is if the last term is negative. Notice I put a plus or minus in the center, because if the last sign is negative, the only way I can get two numbers to multiply to give me a negative is by putting a positive and a negative. So you will have to be careful on where you put your numbers, but they will always be that. So here's again a kind of a different summary. So that has it written out in format, but here's your summary. If c is positive, which is your last term when you put it in descending order, your signs will match the middle term, which is b. If c is negative, the signs will always be opposite. One will be negative, one will be positive. You need to know this because these rules will apply for 6.2, 6.3, and 6.4. Whenever you have a trinomial, I want you to first always still start off with what's the GCF, but then decide what are your signs. So again, we're going to do what's called trial and error in this section, but it's because half of it's already done for us. So I'm still going to start off with the idea, and I want you to check it on every single one. So notice what I'm doing right now, just to remind myself. So looking at number 1, I have no GCF across the board. Automatic, because the leading coefficient has a 1, I know it has to be an x and an x. Next step, I look at my signs. The last term is positive, so it will match the middle sign. So I will have both positive pieces. So you'll see on my paper, I actually write down both positive. My last step now is to look, and I can do this one in my head because the leading coefficient is 1. What multiplies to give me 8 and adds to give me 6. So what two factors multiply to give me 8 that when I add them, I get a positive 6? And we should be able to see that that should be 2 times 4. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 plus 4 is 6. It doesn't matter where you put it, meaning the 2 or the 4, but you need to be careful. There is also a y since I have a y squared. I can always verify this by foiling out. So going to number 2. First thing, look at the GCF. It's in the right order. There is no GCF. This is where you also have to be careful. It's not an X and an X. In this case, I always half it, but it has to also match that middle term. So I have an A squared and an A squared. This sign is negative, which means I have to have a positive and a negative sign. I'm going to write out again what the steps are. You want what multiplies to give you a negative 21, that when I add them together, I get a negative 4. Now on my paper, you'll see I say subtract, and it's just because I'm referencing that the signs have to be opposite. It's the same concept. My signs have to be opposite. So when I'm saying they need to be opposite, I'm adding them together. So two obvious numbers that multiply to give me 21 is 7 and 3. And if I do subtract those, I get the 7, but you've got to be careful. We want the answer to be a negative 4. So the negative has to be the bigger of the two numbers. So it will be 7 and 3. Double check. A to the 4th minus 7a squared plus 3a squared, which gives me the negative 4a squared, minus 21. Looking at number 3, I have a GCF. So first step I need to do is pull out that 3x, and I'm going to circle it because I'm going to ignore it once I have done it. The 3x stays. Again, it has to be an x and an x. Starting with the next two sections, you're going to have to take more steps to do trial and error because it's not going to be x squared in the front. But if there is, this is the easiest trinomial to factor. Because this is a minus sign, it will be a plus and a minus. So now I want my goal, what multiplies to give me a negative 12, that when I add them together, because again they're opposite signs, I'll get negative 4. On my paper it's going to say subtract, and again I just want to reiterate the reason why I'm using a different word is that I'm wanting to remind you that you have to deal with opposite signs here in this case. So two common numbers would be 3 and 4, but that's not going to work to give me a 4 when I add them together. Other common one would be 6 and 2, which would work. Remember, again, they're opposite signs. Okay. So I want the bigger one to be negative because this is a minus 4. So I'm going to use a minus 6 and a positive 2. So double check. That gives me x squared minus 6x minus 2x, which will give me that negative 4x. That is my answer. But do not forget that 3x that is out in front. That is part of the answer. If you leave it off, you are not giving the complete answer. So last one here for 6.2, we don't have a GCF. But if you look at this, it's in the wrong order. You need to make sure you have it in descending order as well. So I rearranged it first. In this case, because it's a minus, my signs will be opposite. That's a reminder. So starting off, I already know it has to be a Q and a Q, and it has to be a plus and a minus. And it doesn't matter at this stage if you put the plus first or the minus first, but they have to be opposite signs. I want them to multiply to give me a negative 27, and when I add them, I get a 6. But remember, again, they have to have opposite signs. So the two most common things that should pop in your mind is 9 times 3, and then 9 minus the 3 would give me the 6, and I'm going to just write this down here as a positive just to double check that I'm doing the correct sign. So in this case, I want a bigger number to be positive, so it's going to be a positive 9 and a minus 3. That is my answer. So your second quiz is going to be 5.6 through 6.2. I do want you to start looking at the notes for 6.3 for the following week, because that is the section that's probably the most challenging for most people. So a good idea if you've gone ahead and watched them before we go over them in class. It'll just benefit you tremendously if you watch those. Not necessarily do the homework, just watch the videos for 6.3 and 6.4. We'll go over it next week. Once we get to next week, we'll be reviewing what to do when they're all mixed together. How do I decide what to do? If you struggle with factoring, I want to stress, the more you practice, the better you become. There are extra videos posted as well. So again, please look on Khan Academy if you need to, Algebra Nation if you need to, for extra videos. Sometimes hearing it a little different direction will help you out.